Hi, I'm Pastor Mark, bringing you the Gospel of Mark a little bit here today. And we are in chapter 6, the story of the 5,000 being fed. I'd like to read it for you real quickly first. The people saw them going, and many recognized them and ran there together on foot after all the cities and got there ahead of them. And when Jesus was ashore, he saw a large crowd, and he felt compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. When it was already quite late, his disciples came to him and said, "This place is desolate, and it's already quite late. Send them away so that they may go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered them, "You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "Shall we go and spend 200 denarii on bread and give them something to eat?" And he said to them, "How many loaves do you have? Go look." And when they had found out, they said, 5 and 2 fishes. And he commanded them all to sit down by groups on the green grass, and sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties. And he took the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and looking up toward heaven, he blessed the food and broke the loaves, and he kept giving them to the disciples to set before them, and he divided up the 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up 12 full baskets of the broken fishes and also of the fish, broken pieces. And they were 5,000 men who ate the loaves. This is an incredible story when you think of it. It really is. Only this particular miracle, the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000, and the resurrection are in all 4 Gospels. It's the only miracle besides the resurrection that's in all 4 of the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That says something about the importance of this particular miracle. This miracle also was a massive one, like nothing really before. It was the grand miracle that Jesus would do in Galilee before he began to head really back towards Jerusalem and to die on the cross. It says that there were 5,000 men there, which it also mentions there were women and children. We know that there was a child who had some of the food there that they used. So we really calculate that by 5,000 men, if you add the women and children, many think there could have been 10, 15, or even 20,000 people that were fed in that one place there. I've been to the spot that they say that perhaps this kind of thing happened, and it'd be an amazing thing to think of all those people gathered that just came in masses from the village to see Jesus because he was so popular. They wanted to see what he would have to say. But when you look at this miracle, another thing stands out, and that is that both saved people and unsaved people participated in this miracle. They were influenced by it as they watched what took place. Must have been an amazing thing, since there wasn't any place to get food nearby, and the disciples knew that, and the people were hungry. They had already been there a long time. It was astounding to them to see all those pieces of food coming to them. And it's also the last significant miracle, as I said, that he did in Galilee. It was the final one. It was the miracle that said, "Here I am. Look at these facts. I am here, the Son of God. No one else could do this kind of thing." It was a significant miracle in many ways in that period of time of Jesus' ministry as he finished up in Galilee and began to go to the cross too. When you think of the size of this miracle, it's astounding. It's hard for us to grasp that many people. As I said, many think it was 10, 15, or even 20,000 or more that were there that day. That's why it's in all 4 of the Gospels. Well, how many people is that? Well, they say that roughly most cruise ships handle somewhere around 6,000 people. And so that means like 3 cruise ships coming into town, and the crew and the passengers all get off, and that's something like what it must have been like. It was massive, massive. There was no small village that could have supplied all that. It had to be a miracle, especially in that part of Galilee. I think it's also very interesting when you think of it, the comparisons that we see here as Jesus did this miracle. Remember, Herod had a banquet that he put on, and he was just a murderer. He was also the one who killed the babies, and John the Baptist. But Jesus was the perfect Son of God that put this miracle on. He was a perfect Son of God that did this banquet. Far exceeds what Herod did. Herod's guests were also the group of the rich and the powerful people and the elite people of Galilee. Well, the guests at Jesus' banquet were just the common people, just the ordinary people that were there. The ones who really were interested in who he was, although often their interest was not much more than, can he do another miracle for us? And then the entertainment at Herod's lustful banquet was really dancing and lustful and immoral, while the entertainment at Jesus' banquet was really the preaching and the teaching of the Word of God, which he had been doing among them. That was the key there. And of course, when you look at it also, Herod's guest had gourmet food prepared by the royal chefs of his kingdom, while Jesus provides simple food that just the average person would eat. Fish and bread. That's sometimes an option that you get if you go to Israel to see what they've got in a restaurant, and they'll feed you that to remind you of this particular miracle even today. Herod certainly gave no thanks for his banquet, but Jesus raised his head towards heaven and gave thanks and blessed the food as he was partaking of it there. And also in the case of Herod, his feast climaxed with the execution of John the Baptist. But Jesus' feast here featured compassion as he healed the sick and the lame and offered them the gift of salvation. Not everybody would see it, but it was really an amazing miracle. It was an amazing miracle in the sense that all the people were able to see the common grace that Jesus was exhibiting to them in this particular case. Well, I hope you enjoy these few moments as we think about it. Give some thought to what your banquets are like when you have a meal. Do you have that kind of focus that Jesus had also? Are you giving thanks with a true and thankful heart? God bless you. We'll see you next time.